The first thing I want to talk about is the prologue. There is a very important quality to these movies, just like any other superhero movie or like Indiana Jones. It's important how you reveal Bond. Bond revelations can be amazing or they can be kind of dull. This one's fun because we have, as an audience, have the knowledge that this is a new Bond, so in the beginning they kind of shade him a bit. You don't fully see him, you just see little pieces of him. And that's fun, right? And
that
it's like,
stuff's fun,
it's like,
yeah.
We got new Bond, and he finds Tracy, and, you know, through rescuing her, we get our Bond, James Bond.
My name's Bond. James Bond.
That's all well and good, but when I saw this movie as a kid, I thought that when he picked up her slippers and said this never happened to the other guy, I thought that was a Cinderella bit.
Other people have made that distinction,
yeah,
too.
I thought that's what it
You're not the only
was.
one who said that.
But seeing it now, it seems pretty clear that he's talking about Sean Connery, which I think is kind of lame. I don't know why they do that.
So a little backstory behind that is that
that's Peter Hunt being like, I'm directing this now, motherfucker. I'm in the driver's seat. It's a little too
okay, during, filming, he was very arrogant about being the star of this film because even Broccoli and Salzman were saying, no, you guys have to treat this guy. He's the star. He's the new James Bond. You guys have to treat him that way. And I think that got to his head. And so he would use that to vie for more per diem, more, better hotel rooms, all that kind of stuff. So he would always say, well, what was the other guy doing? What was the other guy doing? What did the other guy get? My per diem's 100. What was the other guy? So he would always say stuff like that. When they got to that scene, Hunt tells him, say that thing you say all the time. This never happened to the other guy. And so that's how it got stuck into the film. And I agree with you that it is a very
cute and all.
It's a very off-putting thing.
But not knowing any, I mean, that's like referencing the book. And I go, look, I haven't read the book. I just watched the fucking movie and I draw conclusions from what I see and hear. And you're basically saying that there's required reading to figure out what that message means, as opposed to it just being a bad filmmaking move.
I mean, I don't disagree that this film, it has those shortcomings, but again, that's a part of the reason why I don't think it is necessarily the top. But I don't think it's the bottom. I really don't think it's the bottom. And for you guys to say it's the below You Only Live Twice, I just think it's like you guys are overlooking a lot of stuff in this movie that I'm like, no, I don't think it's the bottom.
I don't think I would put it at the very, very bottom.
I do think it's better than Dr. No.
And again, like you said about well, this is Lazenby's first film and all that. It's like none of that behind the scenes stuff matters. All that matters is what ended up in the film and the film and the film alone and no reading, no knowledge of behind the scenes, none of that matters.
Okay, you're moving the goalpost or anything like that. You're doing. Okay.
No, that's not moving the goalpost.
It is.
I'm saying that if you're arguing the merits of a movie, all that matters is the movie itself. Lazenby being a newbie, that doesn't matter. That's no fucking excuse for him not outshining Connery.
To speak to Bond specifically, I'm down for more depth of the character, but this seemed like a whole new Bond with the breaking of the fourth wall. He's not good at his job, or at least it seems like that, because he's been ineffective on this mission for 2 years. He throws a little childish fit and quits his job. He blows his cover to Blofeld. He fails at a lot of different things, which just, for me, makes the character fall apart and brings the movie down.
When you say, oh, no, he's been dicking around for 2 years, I think you're looking at it wrong when you're saying that, because I do think that maybe that is just saying he's been at this for 2 years, and we already know that James Bond's an excellent spy. I mean, hell, he figured out where to find Domino based off a fucking photo where the bombs were because of his fucking sister. But I just think it's more of he's very frustrated. He always
weren't you
gets
the
his
one
man.
that said that was really shitty of
It
Thunderball?
Was. I just think it's funny that I'm just saying I think that is funny. But what I'm saying is that I think his frustration is, and where you're like, well, why does he care so much to get Blofeld? Because he's been looking for this guy for 2 years. He's the head of Spectre. He's the best agent that they have. I think in his eyes, he thinks he's the best agent that they have. And he can't find this guy in 2 years when usually he can find these people within, a few days of getting the mission. So I think that adds to the frustration of when he gets into that scene and he's like, you're off Operation Bedlam. He's like, what the f***, dude?
You've had 2 years to run him down.
I think that it adds to the frustration of him and is like, no, f*** this.
Yeah, I will give you that. But the problem is that what we see Bond doing is essentially nothing but driving around and going to casinos. What the f*** has he been doing for 2 years to try to find Blofeld? Apparently, he has been doing dog shit but driving around looking for random chicks trying to kill themselves in the ocean. That opening
Yeah, that was
prologue
weird.
doesn't make sense. What the fuck was he doing?
The prologue should have been an explanation of what he had been doing for those 2 years.